This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Canine Crew, it's time to just sell the damn thing. Doberman Dan is revealing his contrarian formula for getting a rush of new customers, building your business faster, and making the highest possible profits. Go to justsellthedamnthing.com to get your copy today.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
I love it when my plan comes together.
Oh, yeah?
Don't you love that, JR?
Well, yeah. I feel like I'm on the A team for some reason.
I was just going to ask if you got the reference.
Gotcha.
You know, oftentimes I feel like you're on the younger end of the curve to really know a lot of my 80s references, but you always pick them up.
I am an old man in a young man's body.
But you look younger now that you've shaved off your beard.
Yes, incredibly younger and handsome and sexy. I know.
Yeah, you sexy man.
Joe Nathan. Oh, well, yeah, Joe. No, what was Joe Nathan? Joe Nathan. That's it.
That was the original apodo for you, nickname for you. Joe Nation. Sorry. Joe Nathan was the original.
When my shirt tied up in a knot. Yeah. Okay.
And then it got changed to Joe Nation. So what was the story about that? Who called you Joe Nation?
That was first? Jeff Hirsch. It was.
Oh, that's right, Jeff Hirsch.
And he heard Joe Nation somehow, and it just stuck. We were out having a bourbon and a cigar, and somehow that became the name.
Oh my God. I got to be more careful with my little quips. I mean, look how long that's stuck now.
That's there. Like I even have it on my about page. It's so there.
I love it. So anywho, I just heard from a really excited client the other day.
Oh yeah.
He called to tell me a newspaper ad I wrote for his nutritional supplement is pulling a 3 MER in the newspaper. So 3 MER stands for media efficiency ratio. And it's how print advertisers measure performance. So in other words, let's say it costs $1,000 to buy an ad, and that ad generates $3,000 in sales. You've got a 3 MER. So that's what MER means. It gets really exciting when you have numbers like that.
No kidding.
Because you're definitely better than break even. Sometimes, it depends on your costs, but you could be at break even between like 1.3 MER up to 1.8, 1.9 MER, sometimes more or whatever. But when you start hitting 3 or more, now you've got something you can scale. So like 3 MER means you spend $5,000 on an ad buy, you get back $15,000. Or it gets really exciting when you invest $50,000 in your ad spend and you get back $150,000. And with newspaper ads, this happens in 7 days or less usually. So, or like another client of mine did, $100 ad spend brings back $300,000.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Again in a week. So imagine $100,000 investment on Monday. By Friday or next Monday at the latest, you get $300,000 back in sales.
I'll take it.
Exactly. I'll take that any day I can. The thing that's more exciting is he started running this ad in the middle of December, which is, I've discovered for supplements, for a lot of stuff, but definitely for supplements, that's when response is suppressed the most because of the holiday season. Like that's the biggest dip in sales that you get in the entire year, December. Yet he still got a 3 MER. So once the holidays are over, or were over, I should say, then he's got something that he can scale up big. And, he'll have a business gross in 7 figures a month in the next 12 months or less. If he listens to me, by the way. So in addition to that, I give him one direct mail secret after we get the results of this ad. And he tests that in direct mail and tells me, holy crap, I thought 3-to-1 in a newspaper ad was impossible, but I'm now getting 5-to-1 in direct mail.
Wow.
So I'm hearing all this and thinking about this, and I basically created that whole business form. I sourced the product, I named the product, I set everything up, set the fulfillment up, set the call center up, sent everything up, all the tools, wrote the copy, everything. And now this guy is getting these stellar results. So thinking the other day, happy for him, but what does that mean for old Doberman Dan? Well, for one, it means my already ridiculously high copywriting fees just went up again.
Get it.
And, so if someone is not willing to cross my palm with a substantial chunk of silver, or preferably gold coins, really, they probably ain't going to be able to hire me. The answer will probably be no. And let me balance out all this self-aggrandizing. This is starting to sound... I'm starting to sound like a real douche. I see this all the time in this world, right? Like, trust me, I get it. Nobody ever blew their own horn. There wouldn't be any music. But copywriters seem to be like these people who, like, every copywriter you meet is the greatest copywriter in the world. You ever notice that?
They are. They're all awesome.
Or the highest paid copywriter in the world, or the best track record in the world. So I'm used to all this chest pounding and testosterone fueled self-aggrandizing in this world. And as I was hearing it come out of my mouth, I started to think, this is starting to sound really douchey. So let me inject some balance into this. So this success I'm talking about, which is a pretty spectacular success, not normal at all. If you get successes like that, like once in a lifetime, that's considered pretty damn good. But let me put it in perspective. This is after, let me see, I think I started writing copy in 1994. So what does that put us at? 25 years now?
Yes, sir.
25 years? Okay. And until pretty recently, really, that means having like 8 out of every 10 things I tried fail. Okay. There were the first 9 years of serial entrepreneurial failure. There's that. And then there's when I found direct marketing, and still almost everything I did failed. 8 or 9 things out of 10 would fail. There were many years of that. It's only really recently that my batting average has gotten a whole lot better than 8 out of 10. But even when it wasn't, even when it was like 9.99 out of 10 or whatever, I just kept getting up to bat no matter how many times I struck out. So, I talked about 9 years straight serial entrepreneurial failure, like 3 failed businesses a year minimum for 9 years, 27 failed businesses. I was broke, in debt, and humiliated, but I'm just such a dumbass. I kept getting back up to bat. I just, any sane person would have quit. Really. I mean, that's the logic of quit. Well, hell yeah. I mean, my God, how much more torture are you going to allow yourself submit to, under your own hand? When are you going to stop beating yourself with a cat o' nine tail? Hell yes, quit. That's the sensible thing to do. But, I didn't have enough sense to quit. I think any intelligent person would have quit after the first year. 3 business failures in a year, that's really sucky. Not dumbass me. I just kept stepping up to the plate, stupid enough and naive enough to think that, if I kept swinging at them, I'd eventually get a hit. And right after I discovered direct response marketing and direct response copy, I did get a hit. I started a mail order business, and that's what happened. I got a hit. And it got me free of a job that was killing me, literally. Not overnight, it took 12 months from the starting of the business till the time I could leave my job, but still, a goal achieved. And then after I had that base hit, the next time I got up to bat, I got a home run. That's a story in itself, but it's one that could have bought me my own private island if I hadn't screwed it up. So, 9 years of serial failure, 25 years now of writing copy with most of the things I wrote, just stinky messes that stunk up the place and didn't produce any money for me. All the self-flagellation, during those times, like we talked about in a previous episode, the Danielle and Danny story. I look over at Danielle and she's flourishing in this beautiful, healthy environment with good soil and kindness and love. And I look over and I'm surviving in my shitty soil. And my conclusion is, well, I guess I'm just no damn good. So decades of that thinking, but yet not quitting, and all the depression and disheartenment and going broke multiple times, losing everything multiple times. That is the secret to my 3-to-1 return on investment on your marketing dollars. You think it was this recent thing I did for this client. That's the secret? No, it's the 3 previous decades that you never saw. Like
that's the 3-to-1.
there you go. There's the 3-to-1. Who was it? Was it Picasso that somebody asked him, "Oh, would you draw me this?" They saw him on the street. Draw me this picture, and he draws a picture. It takes like all of maybe 2 minutes, and gives it to her and says something like, "That'll be $50,000." And she goes, "What?" "Well, you only spent 3 minutes doing it." He said, I see. Yeah. What you see is the 3 minutes doing it. You don't see the 40 years of learning how to do it in 3 minutes that preceded this, So that is the story of how to get the secret to the 3-to-1 ROI on your marketing dollars.
So what is it then that kept you going? Because every time you got knocked back down, you got back up, but you could have been back to being a cop, or you could have been a security guard or a consultant. Why did you keep going?
No idea. I shouldn't have. No sane person would have. So maybe there's that. Maybe I just ain't exactly sane.
You got a screw loose.
Or,
okay.
Yeah, I've never claimed to be sane. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Like, I was so desperate to not live a life of quiet desperation. I saw everybody around me live that life. And for a while they were alive, and then they all went dead inside after a period of time. Some sooner than others, some it took longer, but it was just this soul destroying existence. And that doesn't have to be about a job per se, but for me, getting free of a job was really important for what I wanted to do, just because I'm not a good employee. I'm creative. I got things I want to do. I don't want to be put into a box. I don't want to be dictated what I can do. I don't want to fight with one hand tied behind my back. I want to be able to use all the gifts I've been given. So getting free of a job was crucial for me. So I guess probably the reason I didn't quit is my only option was death. Like I am not gonna, I just can't live this kind of life, So I'm either gonna die or die trying, Yeah. And I guess that's that's probably the big thing that kept me going. And, plus knowing that, listen, other people who aren't any smarter than me have done something similar, so why not me?
Why not me? I like that. Why not me? Why can't I have that? Why can't I do that? I'm sitting here trying to think, like, what was it that I'm not even as old as you, so I couldn't have failed for 30 years. But yeah, why?
Thank you for bringing that up. By the way, not as old as you.
Why do we keep getting up? Like, what is the motivation? So to you, it was that like the stick, like getting your butt whipped and dying in a job over there. I wonder if that's a bigger motivator than the potential benefits. Because anytime that you had a big success, you also in the beginning you ruined that success a couple times too, right? So you were trying to get back to your normal, get back to your comfort.
Yeah.
So that was the whole other thing you had to fight through.
So why this is like a big thing amongst marketers and entrepreneurs is struggling with this kind of stuff and getting started, getting going, and dealing with continual failure. And it's tough, like when you spend the money and the time working on something and it just produces nothing, I think it's normal to want to quit. I spoke to a guy he's $50,000 just in copy fees into this one project. And I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years of his life, and still got nothing to show for it. And there comes a point when like you might just have to look at things and abandon the project. Like just numbers dictate or results dictate that you can't afford to invest any more time or any more resources into this thing. But when it's something like the guy I was talking about, he's selling in the weight loss niche. And so there's plenty of demand there and there's plenty of success there. So something is not quite right yet with his offer, with his product, his price point, the copy, or something isn't right. It makes sense to keep going in those situations. But so I heard something recent. The most helpful thing I think I ever heard about this, it'll sound really simple in theory, but simple is not always easy. So I'm working with a producer on my second solo album, and his name is George Whitty, Grammy-winning, multi-Grammy-winning producer. Has worked with tons of legends in the jazz world like Herbie Hancock, the Brecker Brothers. He's worked as a musician and producer, and engineer with Santana. I mean, this guy's, knows everybody. And so I was bitching to him about how all this practice time on the guitar, and it seems like I never advance, or I advance way too slowly. It just seems like an inordinate amount of practice time with no results. Stuff I do practice that sounds great when I'm woodshedding in the practice room. When I try to use it in an actual musical situation, it just all falls apart and sounds like shit. And, so I'm stressing and over this and being the typical crazy musician. And he said, so there's a study of people in, I forget what country, who've been married longer than 50 years. And they interviewed them, asked what was the secret to their success. And what it turns out is no expectations. Like by them not having any expectations, they're never disappointed. And that was the secret to longevity in a marriage. And so George, my producer, shared that with Herbie Hancock, as maybe possible music lesson or just life lesson in general, about my problem when I was telling him about. It just seems like, God, no matter how much time I put in, I never make the kind of fast progress I want. And Herbie Hancock said, no expectations or low expectations. That makes total sense. He said, but I know how to put that on steroids and take it to a higher level. And that's no expectations. You just come into the practice room with no expectations. You are just going to go through the physical motions of putting your finger on the keyboard or on the fretboard or on the saxophone. And you are going to transcribe the lick, practice the lick, practice playing over changes, whatever it is you're doing with no expectations whatsoever, which to me means like you're not going to beat yourself up about how bad you suck and how much further along you should be. It's no expectations. And I think maybe that's like one key to staying sane through all the failures you have to continually endure as any kind of human being seeking to create something.
I actually have that written down in my morning formula and read it every day now. No expectations to keep me grounded. So thank you for that. So Dan, what do you have coming up for us next time?
A question. Is the 3-day work week the secret to maximum productivity?
Ooh, one of my favorite topics. Looking forward to that. All right, Canine Crew, another show is in the can. We will be back in your earbuds next time. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, I think there's a commercial coming up, but remember, call us on the hotline once in a while so we can make fun of you on the air, live. 321-424-6043. We'll be back next time. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Canine Crew got a special treat for you, what we are affectionately referring to as the off-the-chain hotline. Tell us you love us, tell us you hate us, ask questions. We don't care, just call 321-424-6043 and give us a piece of your mind.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.